It's that time again. It's the Berkey and the Badger Board Game Babble Show. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wacky. It might even be a little zany. We're going to talk about board games and the board game industry. And, we might talk about anything else we want to talk about.
Hey! It's Berkey and Badger and Chaz Marler from Paradise. And we are on episode, do you believe it? Episode 52, Massive Media.
And we're not talking about those overweight people that watch TV all the time.
Are you talking about me again?
No, that's just your fuzzy face that makes you look cuddly and chunky.
Yes, I went to the doctor one time, and the doctor said I was well nourished. One of them said I was mildly obese, and I said I prefer to think of myself as beautifully plump.
That sounds like a Pink Floyd song.
Yeah,
beautifully plump. No, it's not a Pink Floyd song.
Well, it's
uncomfortably numb. That's the one I was thinking of. Uncomfortably numb. Beautifully plump. Uncomfortably numb. Anyway, but 30 seconds in with show, and we're off the script. Hey!
Yeah, we don't even know what we're doing.
Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble, the one and only podcast that is streamed live on YouTube. Yes, you can join us on the show. Leave comments, and we'll try our best to read them out. Helping out where a wonderful world of Babble in my co-host Badger, better known as Barry Box of Chocolates. Yes.
Oh, you wrote that in there, Barry Box of Chocolates?
Yes. Yeah, I wrote, because I got boxes of chocolates coming out my ears after Christmas and after my birthday. So I'm going to be chunky buns like you.
Yeah, I just finished up all my Christmas candy. The tradition in our home every year for Christmas, even when I tell them I'm going on a diet, because I always do, I always do a low carb thing. They still buy me boxes of turtles. These caramel, pecan, and chocolate little things that are like heavenly, and I love them, and I savor them. So, I just eat one every now and then.
Ooh. I don't eat turtles. I produce them.
You're a turtle breeder then. You breed turtles. You have a whole pen full of turtles.
No. I was talking about something else, but we'll probably edit that out later.
Okay, good.
Anyway, let's say hello to our friend Chaz Marler, who's come all the way from somewhere. The sunny state. Yeah, the other room. Yeah, he's actually behind me, but no.
He's all the way from like the West Coast. I mean, he's like out there in Oregon.
Ta-da.
Right?
That's right.
Ogden, that's Utah. You're in.
I'm outside of Eugene.
Yep.
But still, yeah, West Coast. So you got your whole left side of the country represented over here. So I'll try to live up to the standards that we've set.
So now it's rainy there, not snowy, right?
Right. It's the rain began in November, and so by the second week of June, the rain should stop, and then we'll have our 3 weeks of summer. So, looking forward to it.
So you guys all kind of walk around with like moss on one side of your face or something like that?
I hate to tell you how actually close to accurate that is. Yes. Best thing about living in Oregon, though, is it can be 40 degrees and pouring rain, and you have to go down to the supermarket, and you'll still find people wearing like cargo shorts and flip flops because it's just whatever. So it's not officially winter until you like have to have the roads, have to have the roads de-iced. So
yeah, there you go. Well, we're enduring a cold spell now. It's going to get below zero again, and 20 below zero in Minnesota. Yeah, sure, you betcha. So there you go.
Yes, and we're having a wet spell, and lots of people are having their houses flooded at the moment, which is not too bad because I'm a bit more up the hill. And there's a lot more caves and cellars. Sorry, Cavs Frenchy. I speak Frenchy. But yeah, there's lots of cellars a bit closer to the lake. So there's a lot of champagne being drowned and preserved in rainwater. So that's nice to know.
So what town are you in France?
What town?
Yeah.
Ville. A village, not a town.
A village.
It's a village.
What village are you in?
I am near Epernay, which is the champagne capital of the world.
Ah.
Yes. Just outside. I'm a couple of villages away from the big city. And it's nice and quiet and kind of rural. And there's crows and there's tractors and French people. And queues for baguettes.
And baguettes, of course. Baguettes and champagne, of course.
Yes. Yes. And we all like to do baguette.
Cheeses galore.
And cups of tea. Yes. Spitting cup. Yes. Anyhow, we're going way off course, and it's nearly...
Yeah, we better get after it here. Well, so to Barry, tell me what you've been up to.
Oh, what have I been up to? Well, recently just been spending a few days unpacking a board game called Mythic Battle. Mythic Battles Pantheon, which came.
I saw your huge stack, man. You had a huge stack of that.
You can't see this on the audio podcast, but I'll show it to you on the video podcast. That's all the stuff that came in the order. Sorry, no, here you go. There's about 27, 28 items that came in the box. So there was like the base game, the Kickstarter stretch goals, and then there was the 4 expansions, and then there was all the little mini expansions. So I've been slowly unpacking it and looking at it all and going, ooh, I wonder if I'll ever play this. And luckily a few friends on Facebook said, yeah, I'll come and play with you. So hopefully tomorrow night is going to be Mythic night.
Well, I just found out that one of our guys in our game group actually has 7th Continent coming. So I said, I actually would really like to play it. And so he said he'll hook me up. So even though I didn't back it, and I know campaign games tend to be hard for me to get in, we're going to give it a shot. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. And so what else have you been up to then? That was my week of unpacking one board game.
On boxes. It took you a whole week. And that's a lot of boxes.
I'm still not done. So much to punch.
You need to make an unboxing video for each one of them.
Oh, no. Don't go there, mate. Don't go there.
Oh, yeah, they're all the rage. They're all the rage.
I know they're all the rage. It's for people that got nothing better to do.
It's an interesting phenomenon.
Yes. Yes. We'll talk about it later in the Babble section, shall we?
Yeah, we can do that. No, I've just been actually getting ready for a bunch of cons. The con season is coming up, so there's been a lot of planning. I'm knee deep in getting fulfillment for game toppers. We're starting to produce them right now. Our standard rails just came in, and so those toppers are getting produced. There's all kinds of logistical things I've been working on like crazy so that we can get them in time. So I've been working on that, but in the same space, I'm trying to figure out how I got to go to Con of the North here in Minneapolis, February 16th through the 18th. Then I'm going to SaltCon out in Utah, Layton, Utah, just outside of Salt Lake City, with my good friend Ben Hilliard from Daedalus Production. He's partnered with me on a lot of our components on Game Toppers, so I'm going to be helping out and showing off Game Toppers and working with him at that convention. And then I'm going to be down in St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, baby.
Where's that?
Well, what's happening in St. Louis is Steve Luzitsky from Miniature Market is setting up a superstore. This is going to be a 7,500 square foot board game superstore with 3,500 square feet dedicated just to gaming. He's going to have 12 of our game toppers there, our game mats in stock, things of that nature. And my good friend, Robert Oren from YouTube, Robert Oren, love him. If you haven't checked out Robert Oren, he does fantastic videos on painting miniatures and that type of thing. And he's going to be there. So we're going to be doing some media things. And right from that convention in St. Louis, I fly to the Gamma Trade Show in Reno, Nevada. So I'm like crazy swamp trying to get that all coordinated and making sure everything works.
You have been busy.
Yeah, it's busy.
Busier than me.
Woohoo!
I've got bad wrists because like the sellotape on the box.
Oh, you're getting like carpal tunnel cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the life of us superstars.
Minor internet superstars.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't remember what mini miners. Mini miners. Mini miners.
Well, did we have a poll that was put up on the guild last week?
We did, but nobody responded. So curse you all.
Woo! Wow. No, you don't want to curse them, but we need to encourage them now to jump in on the polls, I guess. Board Game Geek Guild 2248 very oftentimes will put up polls, and we take a look at, honestly, I don't remember what you put on the poll.
You don't even go there, do you? You don't even comment on our polls.
Hey, Chaz, do you follow a lot of Board Game Geek guilds?
I barely even engage with my own, and I need to do a better job with it. For some reason, the notification system just never works for me when it comes to guilds. I will say, well, the guilds have been quiet, and I'll go and there's like 500 posts. So everything else, the notifications work, but for some reason, I never remember about the guilds. So I need to increase my guild game a bit in that respect. But what was
your online in the chat, and he said you need to hit the subscribe button on the bottom. And I a lot of times I'll put in a comment and then I'll forget to hit the subscribe down below. Then I never get the thread. But I have a hard time with the guilds because I've got a lot of my favorite podcasts that I love to listen to, and I do listen to them. But for me to go back after I've listened to them when I'm at a computer to go comment, because I'll have thoughts and sometimes I will want to comment, but I end up not commenting because I forget about it until the next time, and trying to navigate BGG to go find each podcast guild, and then it's just hard.
Yeah. So the poll that I did pass. Wow.
You passed a poll.
I passed a chart.
Oh.
No.
Wow. That must have hurt.
The poll that I. Have a biscuit, have a break, have a Kit Kat. The poll that I did post was for this show about is there too much media content? But obviously there is a lot of media content, and people were swamped and couldn't answer.
There was too much media content, they couldn't get to it.
Yeah, they're all responding to everything else. So, well, maybe next time there'll be a poll. Well, maybe we'll do another poll.
Okay, well, we'll do another poll. So tell me, Barry, I think we'll move on to our segment about things that make us go,
Oh, yeah.
No, you just got cookies in your mouth. You're supposed to be the master producer. Let's go.
I am, but yeah. I get so used to editing out all your table and grunting noises that you make.
Oh, no. I always think...
Board game news. Berkey and Badger reflect on the current events that are happening in the board game industry. Some may be good, some may be bad, but there are all things that make us go, I was trying to do that in time. The music didn't work.
Hey, Kabuki Kid posted to the poll, Barry. Better go check it out.
Oh, I've just closed Board Game Geek down.
Oh, well, you open it up and I'll tell you some things that are making me go, I'd like to get Chaz's take on this too. I recently saw an email from Jamie Stegmaier from Stonemaier Games. He does a lot of really great publishing on Kickstarter, just other things that he blogs about as a board game media content creator, as a board game publisher. That's always really helpful. And so I've really appreciated Jamie and learned a lot from him. And he probably doesn't even know it, but he's been a big influence in my life by learning from him. He wrote about this article about there's a new crowdfunding platform called Breadmaker. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting because the title said Breadmaker, and I thought, wow, he's really a well-rounded individual. Not only does he make board games, he cooks and bakes.
He's wholesome. He's a wholesome
He's
person.
wholesome. Whole wheat bread. I mean, and rye. He likes rye. And so that's what you've got to go with, you know. And I kind of like rye, except when they get stuck in your teeth, because if you get too big, then it's, you know, like those, you're eating sticks. I don't like that.
No. You got to be careful of the 7 C's of rye as well.
Oh, 7 grain breads.
Because if the queen catches you in her 7 C's of rye, that's it. You're going to be in for one Bohemian Rhapsody, I'll tell you.
Really hard to pass, huh?
Are we?
Okay, so that being said, there is a crowdfunding platform called Breadmaker, and it's actually being designed for the tabletop space, particularly tabletop games. A new platform. Obviously, this entire article, you can go read it on Jamie Stegmaier, Stonemaier Games. You can see all their blogs. The thing that made me go, about it is today we're talking about massive media, and is there a lot of podcasts and that type of stuff. And I think in the crowdfunding space, we have primarily Kickstarter as the primary, mode of transportation for us in the board game hobby is real prevalent anyway. Indiegogo is another one. You see some of the GoFundMes. Then we go to other crowdfunding type of places like Patreon and Pod Pledge and some of these type of things. So later in the show, we'll probably talk a little bit more about all that. But now we've got another one, but it's trying to hone in a market space. Last year, $136 million went to Kickstarter board game projects.
Yeah. If you go
Wasn't that a substantial increase as well over the previous years?
From my understanding, in 2016, it was 101,000. So it went to 136, almost 137. And so that's a good 33% jump, a little more than that, in that Kickstarter space.
Yeah, I went to ClickTracks today and I had a look there. And out of the top 10, let's share this on screen. At the top 10 projects, most of them are board games. There's there's 2 technology projects, and the other 8 are board games. You got Nemesis, the board game, Hate, the board game, Planet Apocalypse, Tiny Epic Zombies. It just seems like Kickstarter is the place to go if you want to get your board game made.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic platform. I guess the thing that made me go about it is that here you got a new company trying to come into this space that obviously doesn't have the marketing arm yet, but it's a new company coming into the space. Will people be willing to adopt that when there's already such a significant platform to get exposure to your idea? Chaz, what do you think about that? Have you heard about this Breadmaker?
I actually did see it just, I think, day before yesterday. I first discovered it, and it looks like I'm not sure if it's launched yet or if it's very close to launching. I think I sifted through their website. It looks like they have like a placeholder project there, but it looks like they're either doing like their tech test or their pre-launch test or something, or there might even be live. But I think that it's very interesting to see a crowdfunding platform targeting this much of a niche. That's really exciting to see. I also think that it's going to be a challenge, because when it comes to any sort of crowdfunding or marketing on the web like that, the very first thing that a game producer is going to want to do is go where the eyeballs are. And so that's really the trick. Is I don't think it's necessarily, I think that the Breadmaker will live and die by the ability to obtain early adopters, get that momentum and get that critical mass. That's really, I think, what any crowdfunding platform has to struggle with.
Yeah, but if they offer a better percentage, they take less money from the actual funding. I think that more people will jumping ship to. Yeah,
that was something that kind of made me go too, because it's actually the same percentage, 5%, and 3% for processing, which Kickstarter basically is the same. But they have another initiative that is going towards retailers, so that retailers can actually get in on the Kickstarter of the Breadmaker. Creator is basically the synonymous term, and then you've got your makers. So you the bakers and the bread makers. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But so there you've got retailers that are going to be targeted with these projects, and they charge an extra 2% to drive your presentation to that audience, the retail audience. The retail stores is what I'm referring to. And that's an additional 2%. So now it's a 7% fee plus the 3% fee. And then currently, as I understand it, they are still working on trying to integrate pledge manager type of products that will integrate with it. Currently Kickstarter has its own pledge manager, but it's pretty basic. A lot of people, unless they have a really simple product, don't use just that. They tend to go with Pledge Manager, Backer Kit, who I used with Game Toppers and was thrilled with, CrowdOx. There's other ones that are out there. And they don't have an integration tool for that. So if you have an inventory that has a lot of SKUs or a lot of items, they need to get that functionality in place for that creator as well. Yeah, interesting, huh? So what's making you go, Barry?
I'm gonna do what Chaz is doing, just rub my chin and look intelligent, as if I'm thinking about something. Really...
I'm hiding the fact that I'm coughing my lungs out.
There's a mute button. Push it. There's also a switch off button because I want to get out of this podcast as quick as possible. Oh dear. So what's been making me go the recent announcement of Forbidden Sky, which is the third installment of the Forbidden series from Matt Leacock, has made me go
Oh yeah,
indeed.
Yes. And I don't have a problem with the games. I'm just wondering why. Maybe hopefully there's something new in the game, a new mechanic which makes it interesting. Otherwise, it's milking a cash cow, which a lot of people are moaning about with this game. No, saying it's just a cash cow of Conan. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I like Forbidden Desert. I think that's a fantastic game, and I am intrigued to find out what Forbidden Sky is going to be about.
Yeah, it made you go, I think I think that Jamie Stegmaier, he wrote an article about this too, this perception of milking or just creating something to get additional dollars when you could have just done it to begin with. But with two of those offerings, now they've got a third. I have to think with that brilliant design team that they're probably going to come up with something that's a little more innovative rather than just a reskin. Yeah. And always with something like this, it's a case of implementing a new rule which twists the game a little bit, makes it a bit more challenging or a bit more interesting, or which is always great. Because I mean, in Forbidden Desert, there was the whole searching for the items, and it was all cross-referenced, which is really great. And the sand level building up, which is again different from the land submerging under the water. So yeah, I'm curious. And I'm sure it's going to do very well because the design, the look, it's going to be great. And it made me go, Did you get a chance to see that yet, Chaz?
I only saw the announcement. I haven't gone and seen any images or anything about it, but I'm a big fan of the Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert series. So definitely we'll be checking that one out, and probably we'll add it to our rotation to play with the family because that's one of our favorites.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Well, I think we're going to go into our sponsorship, and then we'll go to our game show with our friend and contributor today, Chaz Marler. We'll do our what game is behind the door. But first, we'd like to just give special thanks and kudos to our sponsor, Arcane Wonders. We've been with Arcane Wonders now for over a year, sponsoring the Berkey and Badger Show, and this company has just been phenomenal to work with. Brian Pope, the owner, Tony Galati, John Rogers. I've had the privilege of working with Arcane Wonders at many of the conventions as the Sheriff of Nottingham and as the King on Royals, and then likewise the Viking Chieftain on the new game Spoils of War. The reason I'm talking about this, rather than just their products, I just wanted to give you a little insight to Arcane Wonders. Working with the company and being able to interact with them and actually be in several high-level meetings about different production and things of that nature, this company is committed to do top-notch productions. I noticed particularly art is a major priority for them. So when you get an Arcane Wonders game, you're going to get some fantastic art. You're going to see a commitment to quality. Their Dice Tower Essential line, I mean, they've really been doing great. You got Tom Vassell, who is recommending these games, of course. So you have an influence there where he's saying, hey, I really like this. And Tom has, you know, a lot of experience in the hobby, obviously. Well, these games are brought to Arcane Wonders, and they figure out, okay, is this game good enough to bring to market, and can we give it our touch? And that's the commitment you always get from Arcane Wonders. Sheriff of Nottingham. Man, this game has sold 150,000 copies, and now you can get the expansion, All the Merry Men, from the game. And this allows you to play up to 6 players, so you have 2 deputies. It also incorporates the new laws. I'll never play Sheriff of Nottingham now without the laws. Love it. The hit game Viral has been doing really great because it's just got such a new innovative look and feel with the anatomy of the body, with area control, and it feels different than a lot of area control games, and a lot of people really enjoy that. There's the expansion for Onitama, which is really doing well. And then you have Royals, Spoils of War. You've got Mage Wars. I mean, we've got tons of stuff from Arcane Wonders. So check them out at arcanewonders.com.
Boom! Your domain.
So, Barry.
Welcome, everybody, to What Game is Behind the Door. In this segment, will we put in our special guest to the test by asking them 3 questions. Questions like, what was the last game that they purchased? What is the game they're most excited about getting? And what is their favorite game right now? Berkey and Badger will have to figure out what these answers are by asking questions in particular styles. Let's find out. It's Berkey and Badger. Can we get 3 out of 3? Or fall flat on the floor like a floundering thingy.
Slow fade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is exciting. Now, I don't remember exactly when we had Chaz on the show, but I think it's, you know, we're on episode 52. Barry, we've been doing this for 2 years.
I know. Aren't we slow snails, like turtles?
Well, there you go. Long and steady, baby.
Yeah.
Well, see, there it is. Turtles again. Ding. So, you know.
We need a ding in every video.
We do need a ding. We need a bell, the Stefania bell. For all you fantasy focused people out there, you'll know that reference. So, but we had Chaz on the show. And I think it was real early on when we started. Do you remember, Chaz, when you came on the show?
Ooh, he's going to sleep. You've muted your mic.
We can't hear you. You must have muted your mic.
I'm sorry. More coughing during the intro music there. I think that you guys were in the single digits still of episode numbers. So, and 2 years, that sounds about right. That usually typically takes about 2 years of me begging and pleading for someone to bring me back on their show. So that's time.
Well, you finally wore us out, and we just couldn't say no.
It was actually episode 7. The date is wrong on this one, so It's not. It was before August 2015.
August of 2015. What was our topic?
Oh, I just closed the window. Now you ask me.
Oh, you keep closing the windows.
Because I've got too many windows open.
Get a bigger computer.
I've got 10 windows.
I think ironically,
10, I can't do 11.
Ironically, what?
Oh, ironically, the topic was games we'll be talking about 2.5 years from today. So it fits perfect. So, works out.
Wow. Well,
So this might actually be redundant. So.
Well, no, it's I've gotten to know Chaz from multiple conventions and so forth. He was kind enough to purchase one of my game toppers and do a review for me. He's been such a great friend in the hobby. I have always admired your perspective to gaming, and I love your humor. So I know you're a Dice Tower contributor. You do a lot of work. You're also working with Passport Game Studios and among other content creations. So it's great to have you on the show, Chaz. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. And you read the notes that I gave you beautifully. So thank you.
Well, thanks. Did I deliver it well? I tried to memorize it so it didn't look like I was reading like Barry.
No one will ever know.
You can add to that if you wish, Chaz.
Really, I'm sure I will.
Now he's spat on your shoes. You can now polish them.
I'm sure I'll find every opportunity I can. So, but for now, we'll just.
Okay.
Well, we did this little game show with you, but Barry said, well, do we got to change up everything? I said, no, the way our new questions are, they're a little more descriptive. It's been so long, I can't remember what your games were anyway. But nonetheless, so much has changed in the hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, yes. And I was not aware when I agreed, when I whittled you guys down to get me back on here, I was not aware there were going to be physical challenges involved in this recording episode. This is going to be very, very, very interesting. I'll try not to crack a wrist.
It's a dexterity game. All right. Well, basically, Barry, why don't you go through it and just explain first part of our game?
Okay, the first part of the game. We're going to ask Chaz, what was the last game that he purchased? And it might have been a game that he purchased 2.5 years ago. In that case, I'll quickly watch the last show and I'll be able to win. But no, we do this in a kind of game show style. We're going to be doing a kind of like 20 questions, but we're only going to do 5 questions each. And what Chaz will be answering is either yes or no or possible in the middle. After we've both asked a question, Chaz is going to show us a component from this game, like maybe something subtle, and we still got to guess what this game is.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, that sounds like Ticket to Ride.
Oh,
game over.
Nope. Fortunately, we can continue.
Okay. All right. That's the rules. I'm not going to look at the chat. I'm going to hide the chat underneath another window because I've only got 9 windows. I've still got space for one more window.
All righty. So we got 5 questions, yes or no responses. So Chaz, I'm going to ask my traditional question. Can anybody guess what my first question is going to be?
Ticket to Ride.
Someone said that. Kabuki Kid said box rattle.
I thought you were not looking at the chat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Minimized. It's out. Yes. My statement is it fit in is it a Ticket to Ride size box?
Okay. Before I answer that, I have a question. Can I lie in my answers?
No.
Oh, okay. This game just got a lot harder. Does it come in a Ticket to Ride size box?
Yeah, standard 12 by 12.
Yes. Close enough that yes.
Okay.
All right, Barry.
Yeah, that's strange because if you say does the game come in a Ticket to Ride? Oh, you did say size. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. If you just said does it come in a Ticket to Ride box?
But it is Ticket to Ride.
It is Ticket to Ride. There you go. Okay. Okay. Does this game have wonderful minis?
Ooh.
I'm going to, while it does have plastic components that are shaped, I would not say it counts as minis.
There you go.
And if you really want to know about the box size, I'm estimating the box is probably a 10 by 10 by 4, 10 by 10 by 3, or 10 by 10 by 4. So
is that metric or is that?
That's in inches.
A little bit smaller.
That's 0.08 hogsheads.
Okay.
52 baby toes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
So do you have a guess? You got a guess, Barry, or should we keep asking?
We go straight to the component moment.
Ooh.
As he says. So let's put this up on the big screen and we'll describe it to you podcast listeners.
Oh yeah, he gets to show us a
component moment number 1.
Ah, so this is where I show one?
Yes. A component, that is.
No turtle references here?
No turtle.
Okay. All right, so you can take a look at this little bad boy right there.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wink.
Scroll back a little bit. So I can
pull it back just a little bit. There you go.
Oh, it's a very large token.
2 inches by 2 inches.
Yeah.
Got a triangle with an eye in it, so it's an Illuminati national treasure thing. It's a Templar.
Here's a roll of duct tape for reference, for size. There you go.
And we'll have to get a pair as
Huge.
well. Yeah, it's a huge token.
Huge.
Okay.
Believe me, it's the most luxurious token you've ever seen.
It's at least 8 baby toes in width.
Yeah.
Wow, 8 baby toes.
Is that a 7-month or an 8-month baby?
I don't have a guess. Do you have a guess, Barry?
I haven't got a clue. Let's move on to the next round of questions before some
is
babies
this primarily,
are amputated.
Is this an auction game?
And no, it is not.
Okay.
Does
this game have mainly Euro style mechanics?
Oh, well, that's
I say mainly, so I know there's lots of crossovers nowadays.
Yeah. It is definitely more strategy based than luck based, I would say. And it involves more of placing components into the play area. And bonus hint, there is no dice. So that's why I would definitely say it is more Euro-y than Ameritrashy.
Okay.
Play area.
Component moment number 2.
All right. I'm going to give you... So is there possibly going to be another component moment after this?
Yeah, it's going to be 5.
Okay. All right. So let's... There you go. Here, got some nice plastic pokery chips of sort.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very plain. They look like they're engraved with something. Or I don't know the word. Embossed, not embossed. Yeah, embossed.
Yeah.
They may be plain, but they have a great personality.
Kind of different symbols kind of embossed in them. They're pretty thick and chunky, it looks like.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and they come in lovely colors like yellow and taupe and
clay
and plague color.
And seafoam green.
That looks like bubble bath foam color.
Yeah. Do they have mauve?
No.
Like black.
There are 6 colors of them.
Oh,
Six
I got an idea.
Yeah, he should have only shown us one because it is a component, which is no S on the end.
Oh, I showed you all 6 because I know you guys have no chance.
Okay. Right, that's it. I'm looking at this forum now and see what they say.
Maybe this is silly, but my guess is going to be: is it the new Game of Thrones Catan game?
No.
No.
It's not. I played that the other day.
Was it
It's
good?
not Game of Thrones Ticket to Ride either. So really, that's...
Oh. Is it Game of Thrones Monopoly? Game of Thrones Simpsons edition?
Game of Thrones Simpsons edition. That'd be cool. Game of Thrones Munchkin. Yeah, I pass. I'm going to pass.
Okay, so
question 3.
Question number 3. Is this a game that came out of Essen?
That I'm not sure about. To be honest, I'm not quite sure if this game is either relatively new since Essen or so, or it has been out for a while and flown under everyone's radar.
Well, I'm trying to think of the reason I asked that is that Board Game Geek Con in the Hot Games room, where they had 30 game toppers, by the way. I
bet those are fun to set up.
That was awesome. You should have seen the video of us carrying those down the steps. We had about 60 geeks, 2 on each side, all working together. Geek Ingenuity took short work of that. But I don't remember seeing those tokens. So, but there's a couple other games that have been coming out lately. It's not, I didn't play it, but I know there's tiles in the game. I think I'll wait to ask till I see more components before I guess.
Okay. Can I ask, is this an expansion?
It is not. Okay.
That ruled that out. Ooh, component number 3.
Alrighty.
A component number 3. And what do we have?
Say hello to this.
It is a plastic mini.
It looks like a little castle, or like a tree.
And again, all 6 colors have one of them, and all 6 of the player colors are the same design.
Okay, they're kind of like chalices or claws that are got bases, which probably something sits in, maybe. Ooh, this is intriguing, Chaz. I think you're going to blow us away.
Do things go inside of that, or
is that your question?
No.
Things do not go inside of that. However, they do have this nice base, which makes it really easy for them to sit on top of the chips.
Wow.
Or even on top of a stack of chips.
Okay, so we must have some kind of area control mechanism going on here.
With chips.
I don't have a clue. How about you, Barry?
No, I haven't got a clue. Let's go on to question number 4.
So is this I probably just, that makes sense that it's area control.
It might not be area control.
Well, you're building up, and this shows your power on there, probably. Gosh. I'm drawing a blank. What can I ask?
You can ask if there's trains in it.
We know that it's a newer game. We know that it's in a ticket to ride size type of box. It's not auction. Doesn't necessarily have minis.
It is a 2017 game.
2017. Is it worker placement?
Do you consider this a worker?
Could be.
Then could be, yeah.
Like in was it Pursuit of Happiness, you have sand timers, but they are your workers.
Okay.
So to speak, you know, you're allocating time, but it's a worker placement, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. I will say, yeah, you do have a finite amount of these as your resource, your currency, or so, and you are placing these to control areas. So in that respect, there you go.
This is very helpful to us, isn't it? You purchased. Gosh, I mean, okay. Go ahead, Barry.
I'm thinking a stupid question is like, is this designed by a German designer?
You know,
if you can't read the name, then yes.
Wow, maybe. There's a lot of letters in one of the well, that's the graphic designer. No, the name looks very Euro-American-y.
Okay.
Huh.
Opponent moment number 4.
All right, here comes some cards. And here comes the jester. So you can look at that. 1, 2, 3.
Pull that back and just hold it still for a second. Okay. Interesting.
Yes. It's a jester with some dots. I don't know if the dots count as like points, and there might be 4 on there. The jester looks like a very suave English chap, a German chap, yeah, with a big moustache and very colourful uniform, much like a jester. Okay.
Kind of like you on our marquee there, Barry. Kind of like you on our marquee.
Oh, right, yes, kind of like me. I'm going to stab in the dark. It resembles Imaginarium. Is it Imaginarium? Or is that not out yet?
It is not.
Okay. But then again, he would have known the name is not German because it would have been Bruno Catala. Idiot. I wasted a guess.
I just saw something in the board game group, and it was this game called For the Honor of the Throne or something like that. In honor of the throne. That's my guess.
No, I've heard. I haven't seen that one. I've heard of it, but why does that sound so familiar? I think that's one that
the board looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that's one I've recently added to my wish list. But no, it is not that one.
Okay.
Right, question number 5. Last question, Berkey.
Oh boy.
I can't remember the last time we got to the last question.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wonder what the guild is thinking about all this, if they're catching up.
I'm not looking still.
No, I'm not either, but
I'm contemplating ever inviting Chaz back on the show because he's making us look stupid.
Tricky.
Oh, it's going to be another 2 years.
Oh.
Tricky, my precious.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it... Does it play under 1 hour?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Box says 30 to 45 minutes. And once you know what you're doing, I would say 45 minutes is completely plausible.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the perfect question. Does this game play with more than 2 players? He said, trying to bring this part to the final as quick as possible.
Well, yes, that's it plays up to 6.
Plays up to 6.
Wow. With the 6 different colored chips and 6 different colored things.
And where do I keep my trees?
You like this game, Chaz?
I liked it. I would definitely play it again. It got medium to high range response from my group. It was ones like, it probably won't center a night around it, but would definitely between some games or as part of a night, definitely would play it again. I have one more component for you if you want to see. One more
component. Yep.
Okay. So here is a somewhat obscured front of the box. So in case you wanted to use that as your component, there is part of the title on the box itself.
Gosh.
Does that help?
No, that doesn't look like anything. Oh dear. Did he deliberately drop that?
I kind of saw it said something about like Curry Court.
Cursed Court.
Curry Court? Creepy Court. Kirby.
Chaz's Court. Cursed Court.
Cursed Court.
There it is.
There we are. We failed, and Chaz stumped us.
He did stump us.
Tell us a bit about this Cursed Court, then, Chaz.
I don't know anything about it. No, Cursed Court is so Cursed Court is a game where each player, oddly enough, up to 6 of them, has a different set of like 30 or so of those big plastic chips, and this little they call it the crown piece as well.
Okay.
And the board, it has this board that has these this 3x3 grid of different nobles. Okay.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is you have this deck of cards which repeats and falls on the floor, repeats all the nobles in here. So this has various multiple copies of each of the different nobles that appear on the board. So you're going to have this board in front of everybody. And you'll notice that in the board, you have these spaces between each noble and along the sides and the nobles themselves. So everybody is going to, there's 3 rounds, and each round, everybody's going to be dealt a card on their left and their right. Okay. And so it's kind of like between 2 cities where you're sharing information between the players on your left and right. So I will see that this guy on my right is going to be scoring points this round. And this person on my left is going to be scoring points this round. But everybody else has cards. So they have some incomplete information they're starting the game with. And then cards are going to be coming out in kind of a 3x3 grid placed on the table. Like we might at the start of the round be placing this one. So as cards come out on the table, the cards that you have between the 2 players and the cards out on the table, those are the nobles that are going to be scoring points at the end of the round. So you have this pretty good idea of which one of these spots on the board are going to be worth points. So you're going to be placing your bids by placing your chips and your crown and stuff. There's multiple crowns for each player. You're going to be placing your bids down on the spots that you think are going to score. But when you're going to go around the table until everyone has made 4 bids. And when you place a bid, the next player or future player around the turn can replace your bid by bidding at least double of what you've put down.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Maybe it's only 20 chips that everybody has, because I know if you bid 11, you can't be dethroned. So you're going to go around until everyone has placed all of their chips out on the table. And then everyone's going to reveal the cards, and the more cards, the nobles that have cards that have showed up are going to be scoring points. So anyone who has placed their chips on a spot where a noble card has not come up, out. No scoring, remove those chips. Then everyone that's left, it is possible that there will be multiples of the same cards that have come up, because you have like 9 nobles, but you have this whole deck here. So the more instances of that noble that have shown up as well, the more points that spot's going to be worth. And so it is possible that there will be, like, if there's 2 kings that are revealed as you're playing, you know that those kings are going to be really valuable, and everyone starts fighting for that spot. Now you get points not just for putting your chips on the king, but I showed you how there are little like squares and stuff around each character as well. So you can place your chips and bet between the king and the character next to him, and that will score if the king and the character next to him come up. So you can start to hedge your bets and play the odds of which characters are still in the unrevealed hidden information and score. And you do that for 3 rounds, and then the one with the most points wins.
Sounds a bit like roulette, but with
I was just going to say
a little bit. A little bit, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. So we, like I said, we played it, and it was one where I actually hadn't heard of it. It's published by Atlas Games, and Atlas Games isn't on my radar at all. And so when the Atlas Games, actually I bumped into them at a convention and I saw it, it's like, this is interesting, I'm gonna check this out. And it's like, this kind of is a little bit different. As far as area control and bidding goes, it's a little different than anything else in my collection. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. And and it went over pretty well. And definitely, like I said, we'd play it again, and I enjoyed it. So, and then it's staying in my collection. Cool. So there you go.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing a video of this on at Essen, so yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Stumped us. Number two. This time we're going to get him, because Chaz is an excellent drawer, and we're going to ask him what is the game that he is most excited about.
He is a really good drawer. He's like a graphics guy, and he knows how to paint, and he knows. I mean, he does murals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he uses big brushes that have rollers on them.
Yeah, I've seen he made some wonderful clouds.
Really awesome clouds. And he used the roller for those too.
That's funny. I saw Scotch tape on them. That's strange. Anyway, yeah. So question number 2 is, what is the game that Chaz is most excited about getting? Now he's going to give us a clue in the form of an image. Hopefully, he's not going to draw the exact replica of the box art itself, but he's going to do something. Yeah, I can see his head's down. He's going away there. He's reaching the first roll on. He's jumping the first jump. He's starting the first jump, and the nib of his pencil has broken. Yeah, so he's going to give us a picture. We got to guess.
Well, this is the game that he's most excited about getting.
And this is the game that he's most excited about playing. Because
here's the first part.
No, it comes in parts.
Oh, first part. Okay, it looks like a box, like 3 boxes.
Maybe I should write in the rules on the show notes that this is like illustrations, not 10 10-part episode.
Yeah, we're going to get a slideshow here. Look how good that drawing was too.
Yeah, they were nice boxes. I would put all my Mythic Battle boxes on top of those boxes because they look really sturdy.
They did look sturdy. It looked like you could crawl in them.
He's doing a live show animation. He's going to add something onto this.
We're making a flip book.
Video. Yeah.
It's going to flip through them and it's going to move. Oh, so there's a great big box on a great big sailing ship, like a container.
Ta-da!
It's the game Container.
Yeah.
Ticket to Ride edition.
Oh,
yes. No, but there's a little more to it. Here, it's not this version of Container. It's this version of Container.
What version? Down version?
Is there a game called Container?
It's not small and tiny. It's this not small and tiny, in your face, very large shrimp.
The big box Container?
It's jumbo. They made a jumbo edition of Container. That's
jumbo.
Yes. Yeah, it's
jumbo
the little
container.
ships in it are like 7 inches, 7 inches big are the ships, and the containers are just as big to fit on there. I played Container a couple of years ago, and it was out of print at the time, so it was at one of these larger conventions locally. So I haven't been able to track down a copy myself, but I've been looking for a couple of years, and then when I saw this jumbo edition of it, I just was like, oh, I got to scoop that up. So I'm really, I pre-ordered it through the website like 8 months ago, and it's supposed to finally be shipping like within the next 5 weeks or something like that.
This was a Kickstarter, or?
I think they might. I missed the Kickstarter, but they were also pre-ordering it through. They're taking pre-orders through their website as well. So I jumped onto the pre-orders.
What's the company that makes it?
Oh my goodness. I want to say. Oh no, I don't want to do them wrong. Hang on one second. Let me find out.
I know why it's taking so long to get to you, Chaz. It's because they can't find a boat big enough to hold this big container.
That's probably it. Come here, Container.
They're painting Board Game Geek.
2007 Jumbo Edition.
Is it? It's loading.
It's loading. Oh, Board Game Geek is struggling again. Scott.
Mercury Games. It's Mercury Games.
Mercury Games.
Yeah, I knew it was like named after a Greek god or something. Yeah, Mercury Games.
Awesome. Yep. Wonderful. So what do you like that's so special about this Container?
What I really like about it is when I played it, it's a game in which the players, what you're doing, basically, is the players have factories, and you have various different widgets that you can create. Everyone can create like the same 6 different widgets or something like that. And what you're going to do is create these in your factory, and players are going to buy them from each other, put them on their boats, and ship this to this island and sell them. And so you're basically playing the part of an importer-exporter. And everyone sets the prices for their own widgets that they're creating. So the players are completely controlling the economy of the game. And that's what I really dig about it. When I played it, You could either, price competitively or try to flood the market with, making everything of one widget possible. I actually played where I tried to buy up everyone's else's copy of a certain widget, and then I spiked up my price real high. So if anyone wanted it, they had to buy it from me at a really inflated price. And that didn't go over very well with the group, but it was still really exciting to have that level of economic control over the game.
Wow. Sounds good. All right.
And the components are just, yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Jumbo.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Question number 3. Which is... No, what? Oh, I need my glasses. What is the current favorite game of Chaz? What is the game that he is most embedded with? Embedded by? No.
In bed with.
Where? Which game would he like to take to
Why do you
bed?
always go there?
I don't know. Let's take 2. Take 2. I'm going to do a Chaz moment. Take 2. Take 2. Okay, ready. Now, question number 3 is, we're going to ask Chaz what his current favorite game is. The one that he's playing the most, the one he dreams about playing when he's not playing it, the one that he's taking to bed. And
there it is again. He's always got to bring the bed into it.
It's written down on the script, man. You write the script, and then I can moan at you. Oh, actually, you do write the script, don't you? You write all your answers on the script, so I know what your answers are.
I didn't do that this time. I did that last time.
Yeah, but we're not doing it with the bad and the ugly.
Forever. Oh, and it in there. I took it out.
It's best to work alone, Chaz. You know that.
No comment.
Okay, in this round, Chaz is going to give us 5 one-word clues. And after each clue, we will try and guess what this game is that he is in love with at the moment. Because, we're not all Tom Vassell. We don't all stick to Cosmic Encounter every week. Are we?
Is that your guess, Cosmic Encounter?
No. You have to give us 5 one-word clues, baby.
All right. So the first word is galaxy. The first
word is galaxy.
The first word is metamorphosis.
Oh, he had to make it a big one, didn't he? Let me get in the dictionary. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis.
I'm going to say, can I go? I'm going to say photosynthesis.
I was just going to say the same thing, but that can't be his game that he's waking up thinking about, like Ben says we should say it.
No, it is not photosynthesis.
Yeah, because you said galaxy before, and that's kind of like...
Well, galaxy was just a joke reference to Cosmic Encounter.
Metamorphosis. So it's going to change.
I'll add a laughter on when you say that on the audio podcast.
That's what we need. We need a laugh track.
Don't confuse things. I've only got a certain amount of wires that I can use, mate.
Do some laugh tracks.
Although I've got lots of biscuits and chocolate.
All right. I'm going to skip on that one. Go ahead and do number 2.
Community.
I'm not going to do a number 2 because that'd be a turtle.
Community.
I should be writing these down. Community and metamorphosis. Okay. No, not a clue.
Metamorphosis. No. All right. Number 3.
Stop looking at the chat. I saw that kabuki. Boulder. Is in boulder. Is in bold as in like me, or boulder like is in like a stone.
Boulder.
Don't spell it. I can't spell.
So metamorphosis, boulder, and what was the other one?
Community.
Community. Boulder, community, metamorphosis. Community. Does he mean co-op?
Yeah, but it could be in communities and, like a group of people.
This is the game he's most thinking about when he wakes up in the morning.
Yeah.
He's thinking about community boulders. Boulders in the community.
Yeah, that metamorphosize into maybe the fourth clue.
Good grief. Okay, 4.
Excuse me. Adhesives.
Adhesives.
He's playing us for chumps.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You got cobwebs in your soul.
He's probably got this board game is probably he has to hold it down with boulders because it'll blow away in the wind when he plays outside.
So the boulders glue to one another.
Yeah.
And they metamorphosize into
adhesives.
Good grief. Adhesives. This is the game that he loves the most. This is crazy.
He had to stick it together because he bought it from a thrift store.
Yeah, it's a throwback. Thrift store throwback. That's what it is. Maybe it's one of these games from back in history that he's found some rules and made a print and play version of. All right. I don't know what it is. Number 5.
No, number 5.
Legacy.
Oh, I know. Do you know, Barry?
I think I know. It begins with a C, yeah?
Yep.
Mm.
And it has the word like that means boulder in the end of the word. It's Charterstone.
That's right. Ticket to Ride Charterstone edition. But yes.
Right. Game of Thrones, Simpson edition.
Yes. But yes, Charterstone. Oh, boy, howdy. My wife and daughter and I have been playing this. We are about, I think we're a little more than halfway through.
Wow.
Start the 7th game out of the 12 or so. But we have just been enjoying this game so much. It starts out a little slow. And you know, at first you're like the first game or two, you're like, this is it. But it just presents itself and adds layers onto itself so beautifully and so elegantly. And it's one of the few games where after we've played it, my wife and daughter both are like, they start setting up for the next game immediately. Like, we're playing again, right? We're playing right now again. And we've been playing like 2 and 3 games at a time instead of just playing like one game a night. It's been really enjoyable and really great.
Well, how long does it take to play each scenario?
See, that's what's really weird about it. It started out that a game would be 15, 20 minutes tops, if that. The first 3 or 4 games we breezed through. Like, I'm going to say 20 minutes tops each game. And then we hit a point where they changed, and the games now are 45 minutes to an hour at least each game, because we were playing, and then all of a sudden we all got really cutthroat and ruthless and really figured out these little engines and stuff that we were doing. And so it has evolved. The game length has definitely evolved as the game as its complexity has increased. And what's really neat about it.
Oh, go ahead.
If the very first game of Charterstone had all of the rules that have been introduced by like game 7, it would be not nearly as fun. It would be a little bit of a bear. But it's the way that they add layer by layer each game is what has helped to make it really enjoyable.
It has layers like onions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we've mastered that. Oh, now we're going to put another little twist on it. Okay, now you've mastered that. Here's another little twist, and that's
so. Does it when the like when you had pandemic, you pretty much knew that you were going to have like 20 or 22 sessions without giving any spoilers. Is it like that? Is there a set number of campaigns that you're going to do, or?
Yes, there is. There's a certain, I can't remember. It's between 12 and 15, and because as you're going through, you'll be pulling these cards out that have stickers that tell the ongoing story, and you're putting these stickers in the back of the rule book, so you can see, we have 10 more sticker slots, so we know that the story is going to end after that many. So you can definitely tell it has a finite campaign.
Yeah, Ben made a comment, and I remember that now, that they actually have a recharge pack, so after you've gone through this, that you can replay the game.
Yeah, and the board is double-sided, so you actually, if you get the recharge pack of all the cards and stickers and stuff like that, you can just flip your board over, and you don't have to go track down a new board, which is kind of cool.
I don't know. They didn't stick the recharge pack in with it. If you got a board already there, you might as well have the recharge pack at the same time. Ooh, well, that's just my opinion. But yeah, a lot of people have been saying a lot of good things about Charterstone. And the way you described it, like your family set the next game up after the first game, reminded me of the time that I was playing Viticulture with my wife, and we were like doing it kind of like legacy style. So yeah, that brings back memories. So maybe I should try that, because at the moment the wife doesn't want to play anything.
Culture, yeah. Jamie's on fire. You know, Stonemaier Games. They've really done such a great job with so many of their titles. You know, they just make good games.
Yeah.
And it's not, they're not pumping out 20 of them a year. You know, they're not just pumping out a ton, seeing which ones stick. Not that that's not okay. It's just that he seems to be really zoned in on really making some of these really high quality games that seem to have a long tail. They seem to stay in retail. People seem to keep playing them. Wherever you go, you're still seeing people play Scythe, you know, and you know, Viticulture. I mean, you see people playing that all the time.
Well, it's I always call it the Blizzard mentality. Blizzard, makers of World of Warcraft and stuff like that, they always have their motto is the game will be done when it's done. And they don't worry about timelines or anything else. They have that luxury where they're able to say, we're going to work on this until we are happy with it. And we are going to just focus on this one game and just polish this and make it the best possible. And when it is released, you know, then we will reap the benefits of it. And I get that same vibe from Jamie with Scythe and Charterstone and stuff like that. You know, it'll be done when it's done.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to move on for time's sake. We're going to move right into our Babble topic. And I'm really excited about this particular Babble topic. Barry, do you got a drop for us?
It's not terrible, that's for sure.
I'm really excited about this topic because I think, Chaz, you're going to have a lot to offer as we discuss this.
Yeah.
Board Game Media.
Yeah, here we go. Drop.
And now it's time for the Babble, 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 Berkey and Badger's Board Game Babble.
Yeah. Why would you ever give these two monkeys a podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it given to us, or did we just take it by force?
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, what am I doing?
Okay.
I'm still screen sharing, am
I? Yeah, we're seeing all your notes that you put in there that you said you wouldn't do.
Yeah, but I need to put the notes in because I'm the one that does all this podcasty stuff.
I got my notes too, baby.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to save the environment because I got paper coming out my wazoo here.
Yeah, you're passing paper now and polls.
Passing paper to clean up all those terrible droppings.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let's
Babble. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me do my intro because today I'm going to be Winston, and Winston is in charge of. He's in charge of the waste depository system in Babble. So there's a little background for you.
Hello there. My name is Winston. And I've been in Babble for many years, and I get to see lots of people because I go around and collect their rubbish because I'm responsible for taking out the trash, so to say. Yes, so people around Babble, they're a delightful bunch, and they're a bit bemused by the amount of information on board games that are at their fingertips or on parchment paper. But anyway, there's so many YouTube videos and channels popping up on the websites and blogs and yada, 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 all over the place. And it's an overload for their senses. But are they alone? Is it just us Babbleites that think this? Let's ask Berkey and Badger if they can help out with this phenomena. Let's talk about something. Don't go to Picel. Just stay as Winston. Thank you very much. Vote Winston, I take out your trash.
Excellent.
I don't know if that's going to work, but don't close all your windows.
Basically, you know, we got talking about this, Barry and I, one day, and we were just talking about the amount of board game media, and that's why we titled episode 52 Massive Media. We've been podcasting now for a little over 2 years ago. For me, it's nearing 6 years where it started getting really heavy into the hobby, the board game hobby, and seeing. And for me, one of my first board game media experiences had to do with tabletop. When Will Wheaton came out with the show, and I saw that and I thought, wow, we're watching them play a board game. That really opened my eyes. Well, unbeknownst to me, people have been doing this for a long time. And I've shared this story many times before, but we went to our first Gen Con about 5 years ago with my son, Josiah, on his graduation gift, him and his friend and my buddy Barry. And we took off to Gen Con and we met Tom Vassell. And we played the game Nothing Personal and played a game with him one evening called El Grande, a classic. And that was when I was first introduced to him. But I looked up at this big towering guy in a red shirt and red cap. And I go, yeah, well, it says Tom. My son, though, was like
dribbling.
Tom Vassell. I mean, he couldn't talk, and Trevor was the same way. They're just like, it's Tom Vassell. He's talking to us. And so little did I know that he was this board game icon. And now I know better. But anyway, that was my first exposure to board game media. And since, I don't know, Chaz, you might have a better perspective on this. Barry, how long have you been actually creating board game content?
For about 6 years now. So
6 years.
6 years, yes. So I started not long after you discovered it.
How about you, Chaz?
I think my first YouTube video went up early September of 2013. So I'm
Okay.
about a third of the way into my fifth year, and I was consuming board game media for at least a year before that. Scooping up as much back then you could actually watch every video that the Dice Tower released.
Yes.
Yeah,
there were actually days I went to my computers like, oh, there's nothing new from Tom today.
Yeah.
those days are long gone.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was very much like what happened here when I moved to France. It was like I had nothing to do. I had no job. I was just sat at home. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch all those YouTube videos of Tom and catch up with everything, And so I went right back to the first ones. I thought, no, skip them. They're boring. Don't like the resolution. So I did manage to watch everything. And it was, like Chaz says, a disappointment that, you'd put a video on Monday and then there'd be nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. But Thursday, there'd be one. You're like, ooh, whoa, what game is he got? Oh, it's just a Euro game. But it was sparse, wasn't it?
Yes, and times have definitely changed over the last 5 years, haven't they?
Well, I think that's kind of one of our top questions was, are there too many channels reporting the same information, or is there I mean, that's a little bit different question, but is there more media available than can be consumed?
Well, to answer the second question first, I think that no. Oh, I'm sorry. To answer the second question first, is there more media available than can be consumed? Oh, yeah, definitely. What is the stat? Every minute of the day, 400 hours of video content is uploaded to YouTube. That's insane. That's just mind-boggling. And if board game media is just a sliver of that, that's still far more than anyone can consume. But then, are there too many channels reporting the same information? I think I thought about this, and I think absolutely not. As long as everyone has their own unique, different voice, then you're never going to have too many voices.
Yeah, I would almost agree with you. I mean, there are too many people reporting on the hotness, the brand new games. A game will come out and then all of a sudden there'd be 15 reviews of that one game. That's overload. You don't really need that. In a hobby that we have, where there are like around 90,000 different board games out there. You know, there's board games which don't have videos, but you know, everyone decides that they're gonna pick on the hotness, that game which everyone's been wanting, and try and get their video up on first, because it's going to give them hits, which is going to give them likes, which is going to give them revenue if they're monetized. And that's when it becomes, I don't know, it kind of like dilutes it, because the reviews are not thorough, or they are box openings. Yes. You know, I'm going to be the first person to open a box of Mythic battles, and I'm going to put it on YouTube and get 50,000 people to watch it, and it's totally pointless.
Well, I saw that. I saw that today, actually. That I saw like 4 or 5 different channels getting their Rising Sun Kickstarter. You know, I haven't received mine yet, but people are. I mean, they want to jump in on that thing. They want to get a taste of that big new scoop, if you will. Now, I don't fault anybody for doing that. You know, everybody's excited about getting it. But I think as content creators, you know, you want people, you hope people enjoy your stuff, right? That's why you do it. You do it to have fun. You do it, and you hope it enriches other people. Anyway, that's why I do it. This isn't a money-making thing, but there's still a, I don't know if you want to use the word pressure, but there's a desire pressure. That, you know, if we were just talking about old obscure games, people don't seem to care. You know, your numbers are pretty poor. And then, but if you've got a new game that's out there, well, people are excited about that, and they're gonna click on that. So all the content creators were all jumping to get in on that thing. What do you think about that, Chaz?
Oh man, there's so many facets of this. First of all, it depends a little bit on what the content creator's goal for their content is. Right now, there's a website called boardgamelinks.com, and on that site, it lists a lot of the board game media websites. And right now, that list has 345 different media people listed on it.
Am I above you or below you?
I don't even have to look. I'm just assuming way above. I mean, it's it's par for the course. And so
the moral of the story, everybody, is go to Board Game Links and click on Board Game Badger and forget about Chaz Paradise.
This has totally backfired.
Yeah. Sorry.
So but all of those 345 people, you know, are there because they are creating content of one form and another. And, you know, some people, I've seen content creators come and go, and, you know, some people stick around, and some are doing it because they have a passion for the hobby. Some people just want an artistic outlet. Some people want to get free product sent to them, and they think that this is a way to get like free games sent to them. Some people want to turn it into a career, and everyone has a different motivation or mix of motivations. And I think that what your motivation is, if you do want to increase your exposure, one thing I've learned is I think that you know, you have to find out what your voice is and what you want to talk about, where your passion lies. And lots of times, creating videos that you want to create that might not get all the hits and not all the likes is one way. But then every now and then sprinkling in like a tentpole topic, one of those things that's gonna, you know, it's really getting a lot of searches and a lot of views. It can be a way to continue to get the exposure while still allowing yourself to have your own artistic voice without just turning into another box opening, you know, this is the latest game that everyone's talking about type of channel. And I think that actually in the long run gives more substance and longevity to a channel in that way.
I'm batting my eyelids here, Chaz. I've just fallen in love with you all over again. You've said exactly the most wonderful thing, and what everybody should be doing. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. That's touch my heart.
Catching up on you. I'm catching up on you on the list.
I'm still behind. No, I think that was articulated incredibly well, because I think that's the thing, you know, if you know, motivations, and, you know, it's not like trying to find fault with anyone in their motivation. It's just that for me, you know, this is far too exhausting, far too much effort to do this for the wrong reasons for me. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, I'm driven by inspiration. I'm driven by vision. So when I have a vision for something or something that inspires me, that, and generally speaking, not that monetization is evil, but I mean, what really drives me is like you're saying, is this passion to try to create something that's special, that's really going to increase joy into people's lives. And, you know, our podcast, when we first started this, you know, the whole thought was, hey, Barry and I are just kind of goofy personalities, and we're a little zany, and we like to talk in voices. He likes to raise eyebrows and, you know, talk about stuff. And
wait, are you telling me that Winston wasn't real?
No, Winston's real. Yeah.
Okay. Please continue. Okay.
Real.
Nice as a verdict. Please continue.
No, there's lots of realness. So yeah, to me, it's like you mentioned this comment. I just wrote it down. You know, about a motivation for free games. I mean, it's the stupidest thought in my mind. Now, if somebody is designing a challenge because they want to get free games, it's like, I don't know. It's like a poverty mentality to me, almost like, you know, trying to get something for nothing. And I don't like that personally. And when I think about the hobby, you know, I've got hundreds of games. Hopefully we can talk about some games and we can bring value to people, but the motivation to get a $20 or $30 or $50 game, to spend all the time that we're going to spend really doing justice to a review and all that, that's stupid. I mean, it really is. You can't pay a person enough. You know, Chaz, you know how much time we put into doing a thoughtful review. You know, Barry will make a video, and how many hours will you have into a video, Barry?
A video can take anything from about 2 to 4 days to shoot, but then you've got the playing of the game beforehand. And because I'm not someone that just plays it once and reviews it, I'm someone that play it about 3 or 4 or 5 times. That takes up a lot of time, especially if it's a big, you know, hour, 2 hour long game. And that's when all the ideas start flowing, and then I start thinking about things in my head and start doing stuff, and then the camera. So, you know, it could take a whole week if I, you know, condensed it down.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Chaz.
There's 2 reasons why making a board game review channel with the goal of getting review copies, you know, is a fallacy. The first is exactly that. The amount of time that it takes, you are losing money. You know, from just a pure business model standpoint, you are losing money if that is your goal, because it takes far more time and effort to produce a review than the game is worth. Yeah. It's also, you know, over the last, you know, 4.5 years now that I've been doing this, I have seen several channels come and go. Several channels come up where you could, you know, it seems like the person that was doing it, their motivation was getting free stuff. That was their primary motivation. And they all have all these channels have one thing in common. They no longer exist. They've all crashed and burned because of that mentality. Because of the second reason, a board game publisher isn't going to go, hey, look, some new guy just started a channel and wants a game. Here you go. There are 345 other board game, you know, channels and stuff out there that have established audiences that the publishers are, you know, by their own business acumen, are going to try and go where the audience is. So so if you are starting a channel with the intent of just using it to get free games, you might get some free games, but they're going to be 3rd tier, 4th tier product at first. You have to build your audience and build up to it, because there's no reason for the large publishers to spend their own money shipping you stuff. When
I remember Scott Morris said something to me. He said, and this is when we first started, because I really like talks. He has his own channel, Crits Happen, you know, and now he's working Passport Game Studios and all that. But he said something. He said, so I wonder if people really know what it means if they really become successful in the content creation space in the board game hobby. And it's such a profound statement, because if you really become successful, this no longer becomes just a little fun hobby time. this becomes a significant commitment of time and resources. And what does that mean? And people might not understand that. How do you balance that with life? There's not a lot of money in this, right?
No.
So you've got life, you've still got a job, you have family, you've got commitments that honestly, you know, I think those should be your priorities in life. If I, you know, my priorities anyway, I should say it like that. So can you balance it? And all of a sudden you got 30 games on the shelf that publishers give, unless you're a person who doesn't care about, you know, honoring that. You know, there's an incredible responsibility to the publisher in my mind. If they're going to give you a product, that I have some responsibility here. Now, if I really don't like the game, I might not review it because I don't want to speak poorly of the company. But on the other hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a dedicated little shelf of 1x4 IKEA shelf. That is my shelf of shame. That is the games I am behind on that publishers have been kind enough to send to me for evaluation. I've talked about some on social media, you know, I've talked about some in passing, you know, but I haven't had, you know, this is still a part-time gig, so I haven't had the time to produce as much content as I want. And I have to be honest, I've never said this out loud before, but it's starting to keep me up at night because, like you said, Kevin, it's a responsibility. And and the publishers notice too when they send out copies of stuff and they go unreviewed. And so it's gotten to the point where it's like if a publisher contacts you and says, you know, hey, do you want a review copy of a game? It's like you have to fight back that initial response of, yeah, sure. I go, you know what? Let me catch up on some things first because I kind of suck and I'm a lot slower than I want to be. And I want to set expectations up front. And it's a two-way street. You know, it's got to be a two-way street between the reviewer and the publisher. There's got to be a trust that's built, and it's very easy to dismantle that trust just by being busy.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've turned down several opportunities for board game theater that people have come to me and asked me about. And, you know, a board game theater episode could take me 50 plus hours going through costuming, going through shooting, going through the arduous process of editing a 30-minute episode. Those things are really difficult. And so we don't have the bandwidth to be able to create that kind of thing. So it's just unfair to a publisher that's looking for something. I'm thrilled the ones we've been able to do, but I mean, that's a massive undertaking. And so if you're doing this as a hobby enthusiast, you know, and again, I think too, I mean, we're kind of moving into a whole different topic about, is there too many? And we're talking about motives and things of that nature. But it seems like to me that, I mean, we love this hobby. So, well, let's do a podcast. And I don't know if people really understand what that means. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. Man, if you want to do a podcast, do it. What?
I understand what it means. I have to edit out all your squeaky chairs and your eating noises and
Chaz's coughs.
Yeah, Chaz's coughs. Yeah, lucky we haven't got another guest as well. That would be a nightmare, especially if it's Jamie. Oh, or Ben. Oh, heaven forbid, Ben Maddox. Oh, all the swear words I'd have to bleep out.
Well, yeah, so you're right. You know, if it's the barrier to entry to starting a podcast or a YouTube channel is very, very low. And, you know, I've mentioned this number on this Board Game Links of 345 different, you know, people listen. I've mentioned it several times for a reason, because a lot of people say, oh, is there too much board game media? Well, compare the board game realm to video games or movies, and the amount of content being created for those things dwarfs board games. And so we get so focused on this little niche saying, oh man, you know, another podcast started this week, there's too many. Well, step back and look at the comparatively we haven't even started to scratch the surface of what's, you know, what can be done.
Yeah.
That's
a Marvel film that comes out and there'll be 500 videos of reviews, you know, trying to be the first. So yeah, it's the same in every other kind of media. But is it swamped? Because I feel like when I first started looking at YouTube and I was thinking, well, surely someone's captured video footage of a UFO. So I started looking for UFO videos, and all you'd find is these fake, really rubbish ones, or ghosts. And then you always have those long shots, and then this face pops up and goes, rah, in the last 2 seconds, you know, those videos. And it's like, well, am I ever going to find what I'm looking for? And again, there was a time when it was the same with board games. You go, okay, I want to find out about this board game because I want to buy it. And you'd search on YouTube and you'd find all these videos, and it'd be box opening, review by someone who hasn't got he's got the verbal capacity of Donald Trump, box opening, someone who hasn't read the rules properly. And it's like, too much. Too much of nothing, too much air and not enough substance. You've gone quiet. You're scaring me.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, you know, there's so much. This topic is really multifaceted. There's so many different. We could have several Babble topics about the sideline topic of this.
Good, you're talking. That's good. I didn't scare you with my rah. No.
Yeah.
A ghost video.
I like what you said about Board Game Links and Board Game Geek, channels like the Dice Tower. That's very significant. I remember when, like you said, when Tom put out a video, you pretty much were able to watch it. He made short videos. There were more overviews, but you got a taste of what was coming out. But I think what's partially causing, like you showed us a game that was obscure to us. Most people, even in the chat, we didn't know what the game was even, right? You know, when you have 1,500 games coming out in a year, Curse Court, you have this massive amount of product coming out, and you know it's like it can't all get covered. So in one sense, we don't have enough media people because everything is not really being covered. Only the real hot, popular stuff is being covered. You know, all the hot A titles. So do we need more people to talk about other things? I know Chris Whitman is doing a new kind of like a talk show, like the Tonight Show, and he's creating a different format. That's going to be board game centric, but it's not going to be we're going to talk about XYZ game and how it plays and what we think about it. There's a lot of people that were parroting, if you will, what other content creators are doing. Whereas I would love to see more innovation like that. You know, you see Man vs. Meeple and they came out with their studio. Well, all of a sudden everybody went, ooh, look at the studio. I mean, it was kind of a cool thing. And then all of a sudden you saw people, hey, I think I could upgrade my space to make it more friendly for different things.
Yeah, but how many channels upgrade graphics and things, and then you get to the actual game part, and it's some guy with their iPhone just going, okay, over here is, oh, I've lost it. It's fallen on the floor. Those types of videos. I hate to pick on those people because I started there as well. I was doing handhold phone jobbies, but you know, there's still too many people that go, oh yeah, I know what to do. I'm going to do this, and bang, I've got this graphic designer who's done this, and I've got some flash things which flash.
I think my point with all of that is, you know, I'd like to see some innovation, but I think because the number of games that are coming out, and then compared to the content creators, but when we see the other hand of it, you know, it's a little multifaceted point I'm trying to make, but there's so much material out there. Like, I can't watch all the Tom Basso videos anymore. I can't watch. I mean, to me, it's gotten to be so overload that it almost turns me off. Robert Oren, he's one of my good friends in the hobby, and I always pick up his Sunday vlog, but I don't have time to watch his painting videos. I mean, they're hour-long videos, and sometimes I'll be able to jump in there, but
it's like watching paint dry.
Well, he's fun, you know. He does something that's so unique that I don't see anybody else does. He's got a massive community that joins in on the chat while he's doing it, and so he stops for a second. He'll comment on what he's doing, but then he's talking with the community. Well, that's a really neat thing. But you know, when you're producing 10, 12 videos a week, and then your other favorite podcaster is doing 10 videos. And then we've got audio content. We're talking about videos here. What about all the audio people?
Oh yeah. I think that ties in to what Barry said. I like the question you asked, are we just swamped? And, are there too many voices because we are swamped? And another reason why I think that there's not too many voices is because, like you mentioned with Robert Orrin, as long as you realize that the audience is going to change over time. The YouTube channels that I subscribe to, both for board games and other content, over the last 4 years, they've evolved and changed. I've added subscriptions, dropped subscriptions because people, their choices, their likes, their tastes evolve. But also content creators will evolve over time. Like look at the Dice Tower. From Barry mentioned it started out as just overviews of games, and now there's lots of live playthroughs and other things on there.
And top tens, and now box openings and top tens.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this Chaz guy.
But no matter what content you are creating, I think the example with Robert Orrin really underscores it best, is because people are looking for two things when they come to YouTube or podcast or anything. One, they're looking for information, whether that information is information on product or just to be entertained or whatever, but they're looking for that source material that I'm just going to call it information. But the second thing that they are looking for is a relationship. The reason that YouTube is one of the reasons it's so popular is because it's a video format. You can see my face. I carry on a conversation with you. I can go to conventions and meet these people and play a game with them. And live chats, you establish a relationship. I feel like I know Kabuki Kid as almost one of my best friends, because every live stream I have done and been in, Kabuki Kid is present. But I have never met Kabuki Kid in person. But I consider Kabuki Kid one of my good friends because of the relationship that this is like. So, as long as there are people that like Robert Orrin, he's having live chat and everything, he has his vlogs and stuff. As long as the people are there to create these relationships, and that's one of their priorities. That's, I think, what allows us to not be swamped, allows us to have more room, because everyone is different and you're going to form a different relationship with these different people.
Next week, Kabuki Kid, special guest.
Boy, if we could get her on the show as an exclusive, our ratings would soar, and we could monetize our channel because we'd get tens of thousands of hits.
Yeah, everybody. It's like everyone sees Kabuki and they go, "Hello, Kabuki," on the chat. It's like, "Hello, Kabuki. How you doing?" We all. It's like a sub genre of fandom underneath. Oh dearie.
So, and I think Rick makes a good point in the comment. He said, I don't know if I call it swamped, but we have a nice selection of presentation interaction styles to choose from. And
I would agree.
I think, that's a really good point, because you mentioned Board Game Links, and I mean, there's a forum or a platform that you can go to and see such a variety of different people. And I listen to podcasts more than I watch video, just because of time. So when I'm driving, I can listen, and mowing the lawn, I can listen, things like that. But listening to, you become, like you're saying, you develop this relationship, and it's like you feel like I love Marty and Tony from Rolling Dice Taking Names.
Perfect examples.
I just love listening to those guys. Rob and Patrick and Christina and that from the Blue Peg Pink Peg, and Sean and Alex from Dukes of Dice. These are podcasts that I've been listening to for a long time. Jamie from the founders at the Secret Cabal. I just love these guys. And now it's trying to find space to add somebody in. So there's this, I've got all these different styles and personalities, but I've become endeared with them as creators. And so I want to listen. But it's like I don't have a lot of room anymore, bandwidth wise. It's like Jamie and them, they started the Lords of the Dungeon, and I'm not a big role-playing person. I'm really enamored with the discussions, and now it's like I kind of wanna, but that's another one I have to try to fit in.
Absolutely. I know my podcasts go through kind of a rotation where I have like 4 I'll listen to because that's all the bandwidth I have. And, you know, that 4 slowly evolves over time. You know, some will come in, some will come out, but there's always kind of that 4 in the rotation. I'll go back and revisit other ones. But yeah, it's, and I think, like you mentioned how Man vs. Meeple improved their set, and that made everyone kind of step back and go, whoa, I better up my game too. And I think that happens with podcasts and everything, is that, and I think that's a healthy thing. I mean, it's competition. Yeah. It's competition to better ourselves and the content we create and the media we make and put out there. And that's only, you know, that can only be a good thing. It does create a little bit of an arms race, but again, you know, if you are creating content that captures the person's interest and establish that relationship, that will go a long way towards making up for, you know, a set that is a piece of blue fabric and some, you know, white clouds cut out of poster board. So
Heat roller.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think one of the problems again with the content is because there is so much board games out there. You've either got to be a content provider who's going to provide very quickly the information you need and produce lots of videos very quickly for all the different games, or you're going to be someone who's a bit more thorough and will take a longer time explaining this one game. For example, you could say like Round-O against Shut Up and Sit Down. Shut Up and Sit Down will produce a video a week, but it'll be a in-depth 20-25 minute video of this one game, and they will turn it inside out and say some wonderful things and some twist their words in their very English London accents. Whereas Round-O will just rattle off quickly, this is how you play it, move that there, go down. And you know, they're 2 different styles and they're 2 different ends of the spectrum, so to say, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, people will either like that or like this. And and again, you set your targets on what you want to do as well. I mean, I try to aim for the Shut Up and Sit Down because I like trying to sound intelligent and fail miserably. Whereas I'd rather not be a fast talking guy that gets the rules wrong, which is what I do. I'm working my way up the scale.
It's a progression.
Yeah.
There's a question on here on the list. I think kind of fits into this too. Of what would you say to a new time content creator, a newbie? Come on.
Go home. You know what? No, seriously. Do you know what I would say to a new time content creator? I would say get lots of friends, organize your gaming sessions. Each one of you create your own reviews and then put it onto one channel and make it, you know, like a big information thing instead of just one person trying to get through all the 90,000 board games that are out there, because it'll be better for you. I think that's what we need. I think we need a challenge to the Dice Tower. I think we need a team of people who are devoted to producing content at the same time, but on different games, just so you can get the amount, the body work of work out there, but also have the time to put a lot of passion and love into what you're doing. I'm gonna have to do that now, aren't I? Chaz, notes.
I kind of no, I'm totally not stealing that idea.
I kind of thought the same thing, because this question I think is really profound. If someone is asking your advice, or what can you do to prepare them for in doing this where they have success? And success to me is not numbers. Success to me is that they're doing something that really fuels them and provides something of value.
Because success, you could rate it on the amount of subscribers that you have, the amount of likes you like, or you might rate your success on your contentness of what you've done. You've finished the video, you've uploaded it, you love it because it's perfect for you. So there's I mean, I know which camp I'm in. I'm in that one there, not that one there. So
well, that's where I think, you know, I think the problem with a lot of content creators starting anyway, maybe, and I've fallen into this trap or mindset maybe slightly. I've always gone back to my core. Why am I doing this? You know, if I'm doing it for this reason and I'm not getting there, that's going to bring discouragement. And I would encourage people not to compare yourself to others. Don't try to, you don't need to be Rodney Smith. You know, Rodney Smith does a fantastic job. I mean, watch it played. He's doing a piece of community service where he's providing rules explanations. Now, maybe you could become that, but I wouldn't compare yourself to that. You can learn from other people. You can glean information in, like you mentioned about the man versus meeple thing. We can look at things to try to have excellence in our lives. But you know, when it all comes down to it, excellence isn't about being perfect. Excellence is about giving everything you possibly can give. And so do it from that reason, where your passion is going to drive you. Because if you don't have passion for what you're doing, man, you're going to fizzle out. You're going to get burnt out. This hobby will eat you up and chew you up. It's not always a safe place out there, people.
Now, I've lost many a turtle that way. They've been eaten up and chewed as soon as
They'll chew you up and turtle you out.
Yep. I mean, it can be brutal kind of sometimes. And on the other hand, it's one of the most fantastic, wonderful, rewarding experiences. But do it from what drives you inside. And hopefully, honestly, hopefully that's not money. Because now I mean that. I just mean that. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to make it a career. I mean, I think a lot of people aspire to that dream. But if the sole motivation is money, it's kind of like doing something else for just money. Well, honestly,
I know what you do at night now.
This hobby is not an easy way to make money. So I would encourage people, do it from what drives you. If it turns into something that you can make a living at, well, that's a double bonus. But allow your heart to drive you. And then create the things that you're excited about instead of just parroting what other people are doing.
That was a dig at me, wasn't it? He says, referring to his first video, which is parodying Tom Vassell.
I remember watching that. I remember that was my introduction to Barry right there. And the evolution.
Oh, that was awesome. And he had the tie and the hat. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to sign off now. I'll leave you. Awesome. Get a room.
Who's being scared away now?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what would you say, Chaz? What would your advice be to a new budding content creator?
I've given this advice a few times, and it's still the best advice I can think of to someone who's brand new. Is to increase your odds of success. The best way to increase those odds is to be one of three things: to be first. And unfortunately, when it comes to creating board game content, you're not going to be first. There's people have been doing this over a decade longer than you have. So you're never going to be first. You can be the best, but that's subjective. There's every single new thing I try in a video, I'll have 100 people say, I love this new thing you did. And 100 people say, I don't really like that new thing you did. So you're never going to be able to please everyone, and you're never going to be the best. It's very difficult to be the best. You can be polished. I love what you just said, Kevin. Excellence is giving everything you can possibly give. That's going in my notebook right there. I love that. So you have to do that. But so instead of those two things, keeping those, in mind, but the third way is to be different. To establish your own unique voice, your own unique presentation, your own unique approach to things, to be different and to follow your own passion. And I think that is your best case between first, best, and different. Different is the one I think I would tell someone to focus on. Find what is unique about yourself.
I would say that has worked well for you, Chaz, because you are different. When you look at the body of work that you've done, it's the interesting conversations about the hobby which stand out the most, more than the reviews. I mean, you've done some reviews, but it's mainly the not the trash talk. Where am I going? It's mainly the.
He's just flat out funny.
Yeah. It's the subjective look at what's new in the news, what we do is what we think is gamers, everything like that, which makes him stand out.
Well, thank you. I hope I'm practicing what I preach in that regard. So, there you go. Now, I will say that it doesn't mean that you have to exclusively do that, because one of the things, this is a discussion for another episode though, but last May, I started doing a top 10. I have some web development background, and I wrote a PHP script that goes and scans the BGG hotness every day, and then it makes a month-long compilation. And I've been doing a monthly video of what are the top 10 games of the hotness and why. And trying not to just make it be a list, but also kind of saying, why, what's newsy about this. And those videos are now the most successful videos on the channel by a factor of 8 times the views, 8 times the subscribers from those and stuff like that. And, but my goal is to, even in doing those top 10s, to still do it in a way that is different, in a way that is no one else is doing, in a way that is my own personal approach, and adding that to the repertoire of what's available on the site. And hopefully, it helps, and hopefully it stays in a place that's coming from my own personal passion, instead of just, here's what people want to see. So.
I'd love to see you stumped one day when you do that top 10, and the top hotness is mainly games that are Kickstarter, which are not even out yet, but people are talking and raving about them.
Any given time, 75% of the games on there might be Kickstarters that haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a challenge. It's also, last time, 8 of the 10 games were on the list last month, and of those 8, 6 of them were the exact same position. So I had to come up with something like, okay, instead of just repeating the list from last month, how can I make this different? So that was a challenge too.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like you're doing that list and not the other list, the top 10 games on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
Why did someone put 1 on this? I don't know.
Next game.
Yeah, next game. Let's start at the bottom of the list. Let's start with the unrated games.
Well, I think one thing too that we've talked about, we talked a little bit about motivations, and don't do it, in my perspective, don't do it just for money. But on the other side of that coin, and I find in life, there's always 2 sides to a lot of coins. There's different ways of looking at things. My opinion doesn't have to be the right opinion. People can have different opinions, and I support that. But I think there's also a really positive thing about supporting those that you do enjoy. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And while they might not be doing it for money, getting some sort of help on a monetary standpoint really helps the creator. I mean, running these shows, it's not cheap. I mean, you're paying high-end expensive web hosting. Sometimes you're buying equipment, you're purchasing games. And then our time is worth a lot of money in this life. So, I mean, there's a reason where we can really help. And from my standpoint, we have a sponsor. Arcane Wonders has just been really generous to us and helped us with games for giveaways, and it helps cover a little bit of our costs. But we're not making squat. There's a monetary amount, but it's not like either of us take any salary or anything of anything. I mean, it just covers some of the little piddly expenses. Other companies are able to do it, like the Dice Tower, where they run a massively successful Kickstarter. But the reason I'm saying all this, I think it's also okay then to support these channels. Robert Oren does so many wonderful philanthropy type of things with his channel, and I love to be able to support that. The Dice Tower, they've got 2 people, 3 people on staff and a couple part-time people. They have a lot of expenses. It looks like a lot of money, but I know the fact of the matter is, once that gets all divvied out and you pay all the fees and all the things, those people are not getting rich. It's a success story, and I applaud them for getting all that. But anyone that begrudges them that, really, if you understood the business side of what's happening behind the scenes, once you spread it all out, that's not that much money. Most of you would never work for that kind of money. So anyway, I just think about monetization with Patreon. Here Barry, he's been producing videos for years, and he has a few Patreon followers. But for us, I'm not going to set up a Patreon for Berkey and Badger, but I would love to see you support Barry on his Patreon account.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. And then,
No.
and then maybe I can up my monthly prize draw to something worthwhile instead of a copy of one of my CD soundtracks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what support allows content creators to do. It allows them to help others and to continue the passion. And it's really encouraging, even if it's $1 a month or $2 or $3 a month, there's an encouragement that you actually give that creator. You know, Chaz, you just did your is it still running your campaign for Paradise?
Yeah, I have it set up to be kind of an annual campaign, so it runs throughout the year. And about every September or so, on my anniversary date, is when I switch over and kind of kick it over from year to year.
Oh, right, it's not monthly then. I thought it was monthly. I backed you monthly.
Well, the campaign runs. You can the system that I use and full disclosure, helped build, because I have the web development background. So main programmer on it is a pod pledge system. And so, yeah, you can give one-time, monthly, annual, quarterly, subscriptions if you want, or just, plunk down one-time thing. But the campaign itself, I kind of have mine set up to do like seasons. Like, right now it's the 2018 season, and that will run until September. And then I'll kick over to the 2019 season, in October or so, and start.
Even though it's not 2019. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, if I had thought ahead, I would have started my channel on January 1st, but I didn't. I never think that far ahead.
No.
Well, and I put that down on the bottom here about monetization. With companies like Patreon, we always see Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Pod Pledge. That full disclosure, like you said, that you have a hand in. But Rolling Dice, Taking Names, they're using Pod Pledge. For a while there was a big snafu with Patreon wanting to charge excessive fees and all of that kind of thing, and then they found out that was stupid, and they reversed their course very quickly after the outcry from the community. But here, a bunch of media creators, they're pouring their hearts out trying to create content, and this is such a encouragement to them. And then all of a sudden, Patreon pulls some goofball thing like that, and all of a sudden, people start flocking away because of this thing. I mean, it has a negative cycle when you're trying to create something special. Whereas Pod Pledge, what you're doing, I think, is really cool, because I love the fact that you can just go in there and give a big one-time gift when you feel secure to do that. Or if you just want it to come out monthly so you don't have to think about it, and you're able to give people that option.
I'm broke all of a sudden. Wonder why. Oh, I've been donating £1 every month to this guy and that guy and that guy. Sorry.
Yeah, it definitely adds up, and that's to be honest, that's why I started Pod Pledge, is because I wanted to be able to make one-time donations. I went, people start their Patreons, I'd be like, awesome, I'm gonna give you $20 or whatever, and I couldn't. It's like, I don't want to subscribe. I just want to be able to give you, a larger donation than like $1 a month, but I just want to do it once and be done. It's like nothing. I'm just going to build my own. And that was the genesis of the whole thing. And, it's evolved from there. And, it's know what to say about it because I'm biased, obviously, being involved with it. But I will say
Next
this.
We're going to be reviewing Chaz Marler's board game here, and we're not going to be biased. We're going to let him be biased.
Pod Pledge, the game.
When the first time that I did my fundraising, the first year I did a fundraiser, the big question is, well, should I? Am I big enough? How big do you have to be? How many subscribers should I have? And I have people coming to me. I've reached out to a few people. I have people reach out to me about Pod Pledge, other content creators recently, and they're like, well, I need to wait 4 months until I get X number of subscribers and something. And when I started mine, I realized something I firmly believe. And I believe waiting until you hit a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of views is pointless, because you're never going to reach the point where it is good enough for yourself. To me, the point for a content creator to start a fundraising campaign, no matter what platform they use, is when they feel that they have reached the point where they are providing value. If you feel that you are providing value to your viewers, boom, there's no reason not to, because there's no reason not to be compensated for the value that you provide. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
of course, your results may vary, but so I think that anyone who's waiting for X number of subscribers, I think, is approaching it from the wrong angle.
Yeah. Yeah, you should make people want to have their name on the end credits.
No, I really agree with all that too, because for me, while I'm my monthly Patreon bill, it's definitely increased because I support an awful lot of different shows. But when Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules Vids, whenever he makes a video, it's one of my go-to videos for learning a game because I just love the way he presents it. Rodney Smith, likewise, when he runs his Indiegogo campaign, I'm just right there because to me, it's just it's kind of the PBS thing in my mind, that, okay, if there's a show that they're creating that I feel is valuable, I want to support it. And likewise with the audio shows, I know the amount of time that people put into all this editing and their costs that are associated.
Yeah, you know what you should do? You should set up a Patreon or a pod pledge to finance the financing of giving money to other people's patrons.
I want a pod pledge my Patreon bill.
Yeah.
I actually am working on another channel that is tips and stuff for content creators with like private live streams and stuff that actually might be doing that. So when you see that, no, I didn't steal your idea. I stole a different idea of yours. I didn't steal that idea. But I was going to say, there's a little secret. A secret I discovered for anyone who is a content creator that's considering starting a fundraiser or something. A little secret I discovered is that people like to spend their money on things that they want to spend it on. People, if they enjoy your content, people will be happy to kick in and support you. It was an epiphany the day I realized, wait, that's the entire purpose of money. That's the whole reason for money, is to spend it on things that you like. And so people will be happy to kick in a few bucks to you each month or something or whatever. And so a lot of people are intimidated by that. And I am a terrible salesman. I am one of the worst sales. I hate
asking for money.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
Yep. And I've had to teach myself that mentality of, look, no one is going to know that it's an option unless you ask, unless you put it out there. And, it's amazing the amount of support that you will discover if you just go looking for it.
Yeah. Or if you just repeat the same thing on your videos. You can also go to my pledge manager and check me out there. Maybe throw some coins.
Well, it kind of blows my mind. Sometimes I watch Robert Orton and he'll on there and they have these I just forgot what they call them, super backers, or not super backers, but
super chats.
Super chats. Yeah, you can pledge right. Well, and he'll be talking about something, how he's helping some family with the baby needs a special milk and his wife has figured it out and how to get it at a discount and help this family. And all of a sudden people just start super chatting and donate money to help. Or he's got some shipping bill that he's dealing with. Now his dog has got cancer treatments and people just, like you said, they spend money on what they want to, what their heart drives them to. And I love that concept rather than guilt and shaming into, hey, we really need your help or we're going off the air. I hate that approach.
Oh, good.
But I love the
Chaz's plug privilege. I'm not going
to. I would encourage you guys too, and this is a little self-serving, but not for me. But if you like the Berkey and Badger show and you like what Barry's doing, go to Board Games. Everybody should. Seriously, I can ask for you because I know you wouldn't.
I know.
But it'll help Barry out a lot, and I'd love to see Barry be benefited by that.
I'll ask for Barry too. You've been, I think you started doing your first video where you were Tom Mayonnaise or whatever. I think that was before I even picked up a camera, I think. And so you've been doing this longer than I have. And in so many different ways, you're so much better at stuff than I am. You have the whole Renaissance man thing going on. The writing, the music, the look. So you have, anyway, I've always appreciated the content that you create. So, okay, now you guys do me.
Yeah.
now I'll talk about me for a little bit. Now
I stayed with the Dice Tower. I just wanted that chance to meet him, but unfortunately, it never happened. He is the shining beacon of contributors. It still is, actually. I don't watch
Well-
the Board Game Breakfast anymore much, but when I do, Chaz just shines out like I don't know, he's like a diamond in the rough.
Well,
Especially
absolutely.
when the other guys have funny colored hair and yeah.
Well, and I think too, as a media creator, all of a sudden, you know, with much power comes responsibility. And yeah, a lot of the media creators that I've become endeared with, either listening to their content or their podcast, you also get this opportunity to see how they give back to the community, and they're helping at conventions, they're helping publishers demo games, they're trying to, hey, how many of these people you've talked to them, they say, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. And we've been able to have this synergistic community of people helping one another. And I think that's the real positive, wonderful things about the gaming hobby. And there's so many fantastic content creators that have that heart. And I love that.
Absolutely.
I think we're getting to the end of the string now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we need to shut her down here. We're getting long. But hey, Chaz, this has been fantastic. Thank you for all that you are doing in the hobby. Thanks for all the people that you've made feel comfortable in gaming. People, I remember, I still think about your, I just lost the name, Sheepish People segment.
The social
What was
anxiety
that
one.
called?
Meeples for sheepish peoples.
Yeah, meeples for sheepish peoples. And you just talked about, you know, it's uncomfortable. It's hard to you come into that group and you don't know what to say or whatever. And you did that so well. And that helped thousands of people be able to embrace the hobby, maybe just from a little different perspective, and give them courage. So anyway, much kudos for all that you've done. Dice Tower contributor, Passport Game Studios, the content that you create, Podpledge, helping creators, you know, monetize. I mean, you're doing so much for the hobby. Thank you. And thanks for coming on the show and sharing your heart with us.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy talking to you guys.
That's it. I'm gonna have to up his pledge now, aren't I?
Tell us where everybody can get a hold of you and what you're doing, Chaz.
The best place, excuse me, the best places to get a hold of me probably are on Twitter a lot. I'm at Dice Paradise on Twitter. The website is www.pairofdiceparadise.com, and facebook.com/pairofdiceparadise. And of course on YouTube at youtube.com/pairofdiceparadise. And those are probably the best places to track me down.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, you got to get Chaz back on the show. He's been great."
Woohoo! I see my family's in the
He's
chat.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can catch Barry at boardgameseverybodyshould.com. You can also check us out on Twitter and Facebook at Berkey and Badger. You'll see us all over the place there. Our YouTube channel is Berkey and Badger also. You can go back and listen to old episodes that are on the Google Hangout. But then if you go to Board Games Everybody Should, or if you go to boardgametheater.com, you can actually see a string of all of our past episodes, audio episodes that are a pro audio edit that Barry does that goes out to iTunes, Stitcher, and is hosted at Podcast Garden. And you can check out some of those episodes if you'd like. And you can also check us out at the Board Game Geek Guild 2248.
Yay.
Hooray.
Should I play the music now?
So I guess we're about ready to sign off. Again, thanks for our sponsor, Arcane Wonders. Check out all the great Dice Tower essential games at arcanewonders.com.
And Game Toppers for their wonderful tables, and maybe get your name engraved if Berkey's ever bored. He's got some time with his engraver.
Things can happen. Things can happen.
Maybe he'll engrave a picture of him holding a thermos of something. Thermos of soup. Yeah, you should make a soup holder on your table. Oh, sure. Let's wind this up because my wife is going to kill me. I don't know about you guys. Thanks for watching.
All righty. Thanks, everybody.
We're so glad we had this time together. And now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Berkey and Badger will be back in no time.
In no time. In no time. No time.
Bow tie.
Welcome to Berkey and Badger. Hello and welcome.